Welcome to our next edition of the Isolation Tapes. Joining myself, Julian and Dale Halls from the Lowdown podcast. We have one of the nicest players that's ever worn an Orient shirt. Starting his career in Stoke, having a big impact in his early National League career and joined the O's in 2018 and quickly became a fan's favourite. Welcome, Mr. James Alabi. James, good evening.
Good evening, how you doing?
Very well, very well. It's been a strange time for everyone. So how have you been keeping those muscles going, young man, in the lockdown?
Do you know what it is? It's just, lockdown or not, I've always had to keep myself fit because of the body type that I am. I'm naturally big already. So if I don't work out, I wouldn't want to go out of shape. So literally all my life, even during the summer, I'll be on summer holidays, I'll still be doing a workout. So yeah, it's not much different for me. The only difference is we can't go outside and go on holiday. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like there's not a lot of change that I've had to make.
I have the same body shape, but I just have to pump it up with pizza, garlic bread, and chicken. So I'm on the same page as you. So as we've asked all their interviews during the isolation takes to play a track, you know, and as I always embarrass myself because of my age, I go, okay, great, Met Gala by Gunner. So what's the inspiration behind that track?
Gunner's an artist from America. I've been to Miami, and when I was there, I really liked his music. And Met Gala's an album that he just brought out. It's a song from an album that he just brought out, and it was tribute to George Floyd. And it's just literally a song that talks about things that he's gone through and how he is today. And it could be anything. It could be about what he wears. It could be about the weather. It could just be about, it's just a feel-good tune. So when I listen to that song, I just feel good about myself, and it's a good tune to listen to.
That's a great thing, James. I think we could probably spend the next couple of hours talking about the current climate we find ourselves in. And but yeah, that's nice that it has a true meaning to it, because most of my tunes I would ever choose would be something absolutely not as inspirational as random as that. So Dale, over to you again, mate.
Yeah, so as I say, this interview, because it's kind of the way it's going to lead, it will kind of be the fact that it will kind of be a bit of a roller coaster with the kind of questions. So I
like that, roller coaster. That's good. That's
good. So I'll start with, which was probably the saddest day of your Orient career for me personally, and for a lot of the fans. That when you got the news that they weren't going to extend the deal, how did you feel? Did you kind of know when you went out on loan to Eastleigh, or was it come as a shock?
No, I kind of knew. Like you said, when I got told, because I got told to go on loan. Well, not told to go, but I've got told that there was offers from other clubs that want me to go on loan, and Ross asked me if I wanted to go. So literally, at that moment, that's when I knew that my Orient career was coming to an end. So yeah, it wasn't a shock when I because I went to the stadium to have a meeting with Ross. And I'm old enough to take things like a man. Obviously, it's a disappointment that we didn't go on to achieve more things, but I'm still happy with what I've achieved at the club. So yeah, I'm man enough to take things. It's football. It's the industry we're in. You're not always going to last somewhere. But yeah, I'm grateful for some times that I was there.
So on that, going to Eastleigh, you said there was a couple of clubs that wanted you to come down and help them out. Why Eastleigh in particular? Because it's been a fairly well-trodden club, isn't it? We've had quite a few ex-Orient players going. Paul McCallum went there as well, as you know, and then they've done some really great stuff with loanees over the years with higher league teams. What was the reason behind Eastleigh?
There wasn't necessarily a reason behind it, because there was other clubs that came in at the time, and I wouldn't say in the mood to go, but I didn't want to go. I still wanted to try and find my place at Orient. We wasn't winning games. Obviously, I was out the squad, so I thought, okay, cool, there's going to be a calling when I have a chance to come and play. But when Eastleigh came along, that's the moment where I felt like all all doors were shut. Like, there was no chance of me playing. I wasn't even getting in the squad. I was doing well in training and I just wasn't looked at. So at that moment, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not giving up, but at the same time, you've got to take reality when it shows you it. So at that moment, that's when I said to myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to Eastleigh and go play some games. It was literally just, they called me at the right time. If they called me maybe a week earlier, I would have said no. But at that time, I felt like all doors were shut, and I need to go and play some football.
It's a strange thing, fate, isn't it? You know, as I said, they could have phoned you a week before, and hopefully those 5 or 6 games you had down there put you back in the shop window. Because I think for effort, I can't think of anyone in recent years that was on the pitch, gave the effort, and was the passion behind that. And I think hopefully Eastleigh saw that, and I hope other people probably looking at you now for next season are looking at the same things.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So I know, obviously, we alluded to it earlier in regards to that kind of keeping in shape, but how's that kind of looked post-lockdown? Is it been hard to kind of keep motivated to stay in shape, or is it just it's something that naturally you like to do, so it's something that you will naturally do?
I think naturally is something that I will do. So it's a bit of both. So naturally it's something I'll do, like on a Sunday, even when the football season's going on, I'll go for a jog, especially if I haven't played, which was more than likely. And then what would happen now is, the only difficult part where I say is both is, you get the odd day where you've worked out the day before and you've woken up and you thought to yourself, nah, I've done a bit yesterday, so let me just take a day off today. But really and truly, I think when you don't feel like doing it, that's when it really matters. Do you know what I mean? So that's been the difficult stages, where there's days where I don't want to do it, and then I just try and motivate myself to go out and do something, whether it be a jog, whether it be a HIIT workout, whether it be just a home workout, or be anything.
Yeah, so I think I could definitely. Sorry. I think I could definitely use your workout routine after seeing the gif of you, ripping the shirt. I think that's what I need to work towards.
That was a body double, absolutely.
I wasn't even going to do that day because my numbers, like one of the last numbers, I was number 27. It was 1 to 30 or whatever it was, and everyone was doing their own gif, and I was just going to do a DJ Drogba celebration because he's one of my idols. But the kit man just came up to me and said, "Listen, James, there's a spare shirt. You might as well just rip it because you're big." So I've gone, okay, you know what? F it, let's do it. So then he gave me this shirt and I just done it.
Give it large. So we're going back to keeping fit, James. You know when the National League came to a natural end, I presumed, will you have played still to the end of the season there if the season would have played out? Was that what you was looking at?
What with Eastleigh?
Yeah. Or would you left pilot? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that natural thing, so that came to a natural end because the National League quickly said that's it, and the Football League was still open to debate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Were you still keeping yourself in shape to potentially help out Orient if you need, or were you told before then that your contract's not being renewed?
No, that's the thing with football. You always have to keep ready, because even now, like I could get a call from a manager and he says, "Listen, I want you in. We're going back to pre-season, whatnot." So literally, when this National League came to an end, I was still doing my work with a view to, because I spoke to the skipper at the time, Joby, and he said that, yeah, listen, just make sure you keep in shape, obviously, in case you have to come back, whatever. You never know in football. It can always go in different ways. So yeah, I kept in shape.
So we see you're a London born and bred, yeah? We agree with that? We all agree on this, Scott? Good, because this is a strange thing. How the hell did you end up in Stoke? This could last an hour. Come on. Yeah, have a swig, James. Now tell us, how do you get to Stoke? Get lost? That's why. North London.
A lot of people have this question about me. So what it was I was playing school football. I got scouted early doors at a school football match for Millwall, and I actually started at Millwall. So Millwall was my ever professional club, and I played up with the under 18s. I think I was 15, 16 at the time, and then we got to a stage where the manager, I can't remember who, was it Neil Harris? I think it was Neil Harris or Kenny Jackett, one of them. They offered me a 4-year contract. So 2-year scholar, 2-year pro at the age of 16, 15. So obviously I thought to myself, yeah, wow, this is big. I don't mind taking this. But then Millwall went from, I don't know if you know, it's Centre of Excellence. So they went from Academy to Centre of Excellence.
Yeah.
So that means you wouldn't play against the big teams like the Southamptons, the Man Uniteds, the Chelseas, the West Hams, and all of these clubs. You'll be playing against people like the Colchesters and the Ipswich and all of that. So at that moment, I had a 4-year contract waiting for me, and I was thinking to sign it, but then I played a tournament with Millwall, and there were scouts from Stoke, Everton, Liverpool, United. They come to the tournament, and they literally said to me after watching a few games, yeah, listen, come sign for Stoke. And I had a 4-year contract waiting for me at home. So I thought to myself, do I stay with Millwall, or do I go and take this deal at a Premier League club? Because Millwall was in the Championship at the time. So they said, you know what? You don't have to sign anything or whatever. Just come up to Stoke and have a look around. So obviously, me and my mum, we went up to Stoke on a train, and they got me this big house. They said, you'll be living here. Looked at the training ground, looked at the stadium, and they said, listen, you've got 1 year left in school, because I was in year 10 at the time. They said, you've got 1 year left in school, because that's what my mum was worried about. How's he going to finish year 11? How's he going to finish his GCSEs and whatnot? And the coach at the time said, listen, we'll put him in a school, like right next to the training ground. For the last year, that'll be no problem. So we came back to London, had a discussion about it, thought about it, and I said, and the main thing for me moving that far was, a lot of people don't know this as well. I grew up in a rough area, and I was getting involved in things that wouldn't take me down the right path, and my mum could see that. So it was a blessing in disguise, because if I talk about my friends and my people that's in and around that area now, they're either dead or in jail. So it was a thing where it was a good decision for me at the time to move away, and obviously to help me grow up as a man and to help provide for my family. So yeah, that's how that move came about.
Wow. So you move out of a fairly rough environment in London and move to Stoke. So I'm not quite sure where I would have stayed, but hey, that's an opinion. And it's not just Stoke though, James, is it? But then you go to Celtic.
Yeah, that one was...
That's come on. Open up. This is a cracking story so far.
Yeah, so Stoke, it was literally the same thing. So people don't know this story as well. I was playing in Stoke for the 16s, but it was too easy for me, because I was always naturally big. Mm-hmm. So I'd just get the ball, run through, score, get from. So it was too easy. So then the under 18s at the time, they were losing a lot of games, and the under 18s manager, A.D. Pennock, I remember him. He's gone, James, yeah, you're going to be with us. So we were playing against Man United at Carrington at their training ground, and A.D. Pennock was like, listen, James, you're starting. And obviously, I've got no care in the world. They've been getting battered every week anyway. So if we lose, it's not on my head. I'm just happy that I'm playing up. So we're playing against Man United, and we're walking to the pitch, and we see Ji-sung Park, Paul Scholes, Patrice Evra, Rooney, Alex Ferguson. They've just finished training. So they're just standing around the pitch to watch the under 18s play. So they're all walking around the pitch, and I'm walking like, this is crazy. So the team that day, I don't know if you know, the team that day it was Man United's invincible. So they had Pogba, Ravel Morrison, Tunnicliffe, Lingard, McGinney, just players that have gone on and done great things. So that was the team. That was the team we was up against. So even that, I'm thinking, wow, this is gonna be crazy. So then we're playing the game. I score one. We're 1-0 up. Then Pogba scores. It's 1-1. Then Lingard scores. It's 2-1. Then last minute I score to make it 2-2. This was on Man United TV. It was a big thing. So obviously after the game, that's when Stoke knew that, okay, cool, we've actually got a player on our hands. So after the game, the United coach asked me how old was I and how long have I been at Stoke, whatever. But then I remember my coach for Stoke pushed me in the back. So that's they're trying to talk to me. And then he pushed me in the back. Then them two had an argument. Can't be talking to our players, that's cheating, all this stuff like that. So we went into the change room, I didn't think anything of it. So I remember, I still don't have a care in the world. I'm thinking, okay, I scored against Man United, it's nothing big, whatever. So then next day, Tony Pulis calls me and says, brilliant, James, carry on going, blah, blah, blah. You're going to train with me on Monday. But from now on, you're going to be playing with the 18s. But if I need you for training, you'll be coming with me, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh yeah, no, this is sick. This is good. And then we had another under 18s game against Everton, and I scored one. And then a scout, because obviously scouts can come to your games. So a scout came to me and said, would you like a chat? So I went and had a chat with him, just like in the car park, and he was like, listen, Celtic want to sign you right now. Obviously, you haven't, I hadn't signed my pro yet at Stoke. So Celtic want to sign you right now. I know you've got a deal offered to you by Stoke, but I would love to take you to Scotland to show you around. It was the same thing, like what happened with Stoke. Like they know what they're doing when they're showing you around.
Yeah, of course.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I'm coming from.
They take you in one door, they don't show you that door again, do you? You're not going back through that door.
Yeah. So I remember I'm coming from Peckham. I'm coming from a poverty area where it's nothing's happening there. So I'm like to them, okay, you know what? Cool. So I've gone home, but me being me, like not that it doesn't faze me, but it's not clicking in my head. So I've called my mum and I said, Mum, Celtic want me to fly to Scotland to look at the club. And obviously I know Celtic from like Champions League, Henrik Larsson, Samaras, Nakamara, all these players. I'm thinking, wow, they want me. So my mum's like, okay, you know what, let's go and listen to it. But my mum's telling me, no, don't go because you've just got to Stoke. Like, I don't want you to keep on moving. And I'm like, yeah, Mum, but we've got to hear what they're saying. Like, obviously, Stoke has given me a deal, but let's see what Celtic are going to offer. We have to turn every stone before we make a deal. And my agent at the time was saying the same thing. He said, okay, we've got to listen to what they say. But then, so it was the next week we were flying. And then my agent called me and said, Everton and Blackburn want to sign you as well now. Because everyone's been hearing about the Man United thing. And so what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, but we don't have time to go. Everton wanted us to go in, but we had to fly the same day. So I said, we've got a flight to go to Scotland. So we've gone to Scotland and gone to the training ground, gone to, they call it Paradise, the stadium, and it was just, I was just looking around like, oh my God, this is crazy. So as soon as I stepped out the tunnel in Celtic Park, that's when I made my decision. I said, yeah, no, I'm signing for Celtic. There's no two ways about it. I know that Stoke have put their belief in me and whatnot, and it's good signs and whatnot, but I need to sign for this club. It's too big of an opportunity. So we flew back to London. We flew back to Manchester, went to Stoke, and Tony Pulis was raging at the time, and he's like, "Listen, like I'm not going to tell you what to do, but obviously we've got high hopes for you here, and you can play in our team and whatnot." And I was like, "Yeah, but when an offer like this comes in at such a young age, I've got to go." He's gone, "Listen, I respect your decision. I wish you all the best." So Tony Pulis gave me his blessing. Then that's how I went to sign for Celtic.
I presume as a young man, with what way you're describing things, i.e., you wasn't phased by it. It was, I'm playing football, yeah. And I know these clubs, and most kids would be phased at playing against Paul Pogba or Jesse Lingard and people like that, you know. And probably by the sound of things, you was like, yeah, it's people I know of. They're my age group or slightly older than me, and off you go. And I think that's quite commendable. So then you do a slight U-turn, didn't you? Because you go back to Stoke. So, but was Tony Pulis at Stoke when you went back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you went back then, as a slightly older youth, when I looked up on Wikipedia before we interviewed you, there were some superstar strikers at Stoke at the time, wasn't there? They had a real collective of talent. Yeah. And I think it was a time where I think we all looked at Stoke and thinking, yeah, they're a bit of a force. And I think you talk about Peter Crouch and just one name, but there's some talent there. As a young lad going back the other way, did you think you could break into that side at some point in the future? Is that what you were telling yourself, or were you just going back there to continue your development?
No, do you know what it was? Me and Tony Pulis, I'd like to think that at the time we had a great connection, and he was the only reason why. Because the things what happened at Celtic, why it didn't work out, was because my international clearance took up to 8 months of my contract, and I only had like a month. So I was training for like the first 8 months of my deal, and then the last 2 months of the season, that's the only time I played. And I don't know if you know the name, but they had a striker called Tony Watt. He scored against Barcelona in the Champions League that season, and they literally said to him, he's the next one coming through, because we was in and around the same age. And he said, "Listen, you can stay." Like Celtic said to me, "You can stay and try and break in," because it was the same thing again. The youth team at Celtic, like the last 2 months, like we had a game against Rangers, and I scored 2, and but it wasn't developing me to get to the next level. So I needed to go and play first team football. So Celtic it was even good from Celtic. Celtic was like, "Listen, you're not going to play because we're going to put Tony Watt ahead of you because he scored in the Champions League and whatnot. So you can either stay and fight, or you can go back down to see what options you've got in down south." And when my agent told me that Stoke was interested in taking me, and Pulis called me that day, that was the main reason why I said to myself, "Okay, cool, I've got opportunity." If Stoke had a different manager, I wouldn't have gone back, no way. And that showed with my Stoke City career, because even when I went back and I was with the first team, traveling with them, so like the likes of what you're saying, like I've got pictures with Peter Crouch. I went on tour with them to France, Michael Owen, Bojan, Cameron Jerome. I was speaking to Cameron Jerome yesterday. Ricardo Fuller. What's the guy with the dreads? What's the tall guy with the dreads again? Dark, tall. Striker.
I'll come back to you. I'll quickly look at it while you're talking. I know, yeah, literally tip of my tongue.
Cameron Jones.
That's it, Cameron Jones, right. But you look at James, you look at those strikers, right? They are world-class strikers. Yeah. International strikers. And then as a kid, and you think, by the sound of things, as a kid, you would go against anyone because your confidence.
It was a main thing that Tony Pulis loved about me, because at a young age, I know like these are world-class strikers, but at the age I was at, I was built just like them. So it was just a thing where Tony Pulis wanted me around these players. So when it came to match day, like we had pre-season matches, and I'm shining just like them. But he understood that I'm not fazed by the big names, because when it's on the pitch, we're all human. I know you've done more than me in the game, but if I've got the physicality and I've got the mental strength to do what I have to do, then it's not gonna faze me back like that. So that's the main reason why Tony Pulis was so open to me coming back, because he knew that mentally it wasn't a case of he's going to come back and just try and bide his time. He's going to come back and try and fight for his place in the team. So yeah, that's how that move came about.
So if we fast forward a little bit past that, the kind of the most successful, stage of your career so far came at Chester. And one of my mates said that I've got to mention and thank you for scoring so many goals for him on Football Manager at that stage. So I just thought I'd throw that in for him. Yeah. But as I say, was that what was the biggest difference? Was that just because you scored for fun at Chester, didn't you?
Do you know, like this one is this subject? I've had an interview about this a few times with my time in Chester and what's the difference, because I haven't really had that spell wherever I've gone. And that time I was at Ipswich and I went on loan to Chester for the rest of the season. No, I went to Chester on a permanent. I remember Mick McCarthy, and Ipswich was even a good experience because I scored on my debut as soon as I signed for them, and I went there on trial. But yeah, we'll get to that. But Chester was just a case of, when I went there, it was like, wow, we've got James Alabi at Chester. Like, when I first went there, the manager said, oh my gosh, it's like a privilege. It's a privilege to have you here. Like, we can't believe we've got you and all of this. And because remember, Chester's all the way in Manchester, Liverpool area. So they're shocked. And the Chester move was even difficult for me at the time because they didn't have the money to get me a place. I had to pay for myself to live there. And the difference with it was, all the responsibilities was put on me. Yeah. So I compared it to my lifestyle. My lifestyle is, in my family, the responsibility is on me. So that's why I know I'll never ever lose. I'll never ever not have success, because the responsibility is put on me, and I know in myself, with my self-belief, I'm going to do well because it's me that has to do it. And that was the same thing for me at Chester. I felt like wherever I've gone, I don't really get responsibilities. It's like, okay, cool. If he does well, he does well. If he doesn't, okay, we're just going to let him out. Just get him out the door. Whereas Chester's like, they're looking to him. It's like Didier Drogba.
You're the Messiah as such. Yeah, they're hoping they're the season on you.
It's like Didier Drogba, because remember, he's from my country. Ivory Coast, Chelsea, they looked to him to be the guy that gets the goals, the guy that's the leadership, the character. And that's how I see my career. Wherever I go, if I've been given the responsibility to do certain things, I'm going to produce. I'm 100% going to produce. And that's what Chester gave me. Chester was like, listen, no matter if you miss a chance, no matter if you're not playing as well, we know that you're going to come good. And that's what the manager always used to say to me. He used to say, like, because I remember the first time I went there, it took me like 6-7 games to score, and he said, listen, I know that there'll be a stint where you score 10 goals in 10 games. I know that's the type of person you are. Yeah. And it was even funny because one game, the 6th game against Aldershot, where we won 8-2 and I scored 4. Can you imagine, before that game, the manager pulled me in the office and said, Steve Burt at the time, he pulled me in the office, he sat me down, he said, James, I don't know, like, things are not, you haven't scored, we're losing games, you need to start producing for me. I know you're going to do it, but it's just a case of when. I can't carry on playing you and you're not scoring, because obviously the hierarchy is going to think that we brought this guy in with high expectations and he's not scoring. So then I didn't say a word. I just didn't say a word. I stood up. I said, cheers, gaffer. Cool. Stood up, went into the change room, didn't say a word. First 10, 15 minutes, scored 3 in the first half. Then the second half, scored 4. And he took me in the office after that and he's gone, wow, just wow. I've got nothing to say. And I didn't say nothing after that. I didn't say, I told you, I didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because I just know what I have to do. When the responsibility is put on me, I know what I can produce. So that's the main thing for me at Chester. I'm not saying that other clubs you go to, you're not always gonna get the responsibility. So that's another challenge for me that I have to bring out myself. Where when the responsibility is not put on myself, I've got to now make sure that, yeah, okay, cool. I've got responsibility on myself. I'm gonna bring it out.
I wouldn't say Orient didn't believe in you, so that's probably unfair and just to say that. But it seems like at Chester, the gaffer there believed in you, and that gave you that confidence to go, I'm just going to go and do it. Yeah, I know I can do it. Yeah, because what you said. Yeah. Do you think that's probably the biggest difference between why you didn't have the success at Orient as you would hope, because you didn't get the run of games, and don't take it the wrong way, you weren't the main man. We had good strikers, always had good strikers around me. You know, when Macaulay, Matty Harold, Josh, and you had a good strike force, really good strike force. You know, so was that one of the reasons why do you think you didn't get to the point where you would probably hoped and expected?
Do you know what it is? When I first came to Orient, I spoke to Macaulay Bonne before I even signed, and the gaffer, rest his soul, said to me, first pre-season training, said to Joby, yeah, this season, just play up to the big man, play around him, and that's it. So at that moment, I knew that, okay, cool, the gaffer's got belief in me, because you've got Macaulay Bonne there that's been scoring from a long time ago, and I've come in and he's gone, listen, this season, play up to the big man, playing around him, and we're good to go. And I feel like what was happening was Macaulay Bonne needed someone else with him, because he was doing all them goals, but he needed another striker to help chip in to take us to that next level. And I was that guy at the beginning. So I started the first 3 games, but this is the difference with football. I started the first 3 games and I didn't score. I remember I think I had a chance against Ebbsfleet, and we hadn't won a game. We drew 3 games to Salford. I can't remember the second game, and then Ebbsfleet we drew. And then there was obviously the hierarchy and people saying, okay, you've brought this guy in, and you're drawing games. We need to win the league. We need to get out of this league. So Justin's hands were tied. He's thought, okay, cool. You know what? Macaulay's been here scoring goals. We've got Josh Koroma that can play well. I need to change the team. So what epitomized my time was when I came out the team, Josh Koroma came in and we won that game. So the next game we won, the gaffer's thinking, I can't change the team that we've won. James has played, but we drew 3 games. But now that Josh has come in and we've won the game, I've got to take James out. And that's credit to them two, because that's the type of club you're at. So you get the difference from the clubs. You get Chester, where there's not competition that's with good strikers. Then you go to another club, which is a bigger club, higher expectations. When you're out, this person that's coming in, he's not playing games. He's going to come and start scoring.
So James, just quickly on that, how do you feel about that situation as a competitive athlete?
Yeah, so when obviously like Josh and Macaulay Bonne was doing well, there's no animosity towards any of them. I didn't feel like any hatred towards them, because remember, Josh is like my little brother. Like Josh is someone that looks up to me off the field. So when when Josh was doing well, it made me happy, because I knew that he has a big future ahead of him. Same with Macaulay. And it was a team. It's a team game at the end of the day. I know that's a bit cliche, and a lot of players say this about us. It's a team game, and then you do get players on the other hand that will be like, no, I need to be playing. He's rubbish anyway. Blah blah blah. Listen, I'm a man at the end of the day, and I know if someone's doing what they're meant to be doing, I've just got to focus on myself and make sure that if there's an opportunity for me to come and play, then I can come in and play. So it wasn't. I had no disappointment or pain. Obviously, I was disappointed in myself for not playing, but we're winning, and there's no argument I can have if the team is winning, whoever that is. It could be someone else. It could be a defender. Do you know what I mean? If they're doing what they're meant to be doing, there's nothing that you can say, and that's what was so good about the club at the time. Whenever someone wasn't playing, the gaffer and everyone around, we was a great squad, and that's stuff like that is what made us win the league. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Whereas if I was the guy that's the bad egg and talking about Josh and blah, 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 nah, we wouldn't have achieved what we achieved. So there wasn't no bad blood when they were playing.
So what? Just a couple of questions. What drew you to come to sign for Orient? Because I think, correct me if you're wrong, you was at Dover on loan, weren't you, before you signed for us? And you played against us, didn't you, in Dover? You played on the wing, if I was right. Was you playing out wide there?
Yeah. I got an assist that game.
Yeah, rub it in, yeah? Good man. We Orient fans, remember, loves? Yeah. We know you're not a player now, but you have to have a suspect. No, jokes. So what, at the time of coming to Orient, did you have any other offers on the table? Was it Orient the only one that you really wanted to go over the line?
You're not even going to believe this. Where
was Tony Pulis at the time? Middlesbrough.
Nah, you're not going to believe this. I'm on the way to sign for Bournemouth, and I signed for Orient.
You got lost.
I was on holiday at the time, and I got a call from Bournemouth saying that we want to sign you because I was going to leave Tranmere. And Tranmere manager said, Mickey Mellon said, yeah, you're free to go and sign for them. So I got back to London and spoke with the gaffer at Bournemouth, and we got a deal. So I'm driving to sign it. Then as I'm driving to sign it, Tranmere chief exec says to me, listen, Orient, I want to have a word with you. Same thing again. Orient want to have a chat with you. Would you be open? And I said, listen, I'm going to sign. So there's nothing that I can do. Then Justin Edinburgh got hold of my number and said, look, James, let's just have a conversation. Like, you can go and sign for the club you want, but let me have a conversation. Same thing again. They know what they're doing. I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'll come. But as I'm on the way to link Justin Edinburgh, the Bournemouth manager's calling, and I'm like, I can't pick up. So I've gone into the meeting, spoke with Justin Edinburgh, and seen the stadium, seen everything, what he wants to achieve and whatnot. And when you speak to a man, one thing that a man can do is when they talk to you, if they can make you believe what they're saying, that you have to believe it. Because a lot of people, they can talk, but you can hear it, you're just like, oh, yeah. But when I sat on the table with Justin Edinburgh and he spoke, I wouldn't even look away. I was just listening to everything he was saying, and it was just music to my ears. So he said, listen, we finished this conversation, go away, go to this Stratford's just down the road, you can go and have lunch, text me, tell your agent to text me what you want in your contract, I'll do it. That's me telling you personally, I'll do it. So I've gone to Stratford, my agent was with me, I told him what we want. It happened in 2 minutes. So I told him what we want. Justin Edinburgh said, yeah, okay, cool. Just sort it out, we're writing up the contract right now, I'll come back and sign. But remember, I'm meant to be on the way to Bournemouth to sign. So then I've gone, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? So then my agent was like, yeah, just tell Boreham Wood where it is. So called Boreham Wood, and Boreham Wood was like, but the Boreham Wood gaffer knew what was up.
Yeah, because he does, yeah.
He picked up the phone and he went, for straight away, he didn't even say hello, he goes, yeah, okay, I'm at the stadium now, so when you get here, just make sure you turn up. He didn't even let my agent speak. And then my agent was like, whoa, slow down. We're gonna go elsewhere. We're not taking it off. Then he went, what? And I went, then my agent went, yeah, we're gonna go elsewhere. He chose to go somewhere else. Then he started effing and blinding. And yeah, it wasn't a nice thing. And then I called him straight after, and I said, listen, I apologize, but I'm choosing to go somewhere else. And he's gone, listen, all the best. Then he's locked off the phone. Then the chairman for Boreham Wood has called and said, listen, he will never play for my club. Nah, that's rubbish. That's blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, cool. So I went to sign for Orient, literally. And that's how it happened.
So we see you at Boreham Wood next season, yeah?
You put money in that, you're losing your money, mate.
Yeah. I know.
So so out of the strike partners that you had at the Orient, who would you say was your favourite to play with? I know you said Josh was like your little brother, and Macca does a lot of running. So who would you say was your favourite strike partner to have? What would be your perfect kind of strike partner?
Perfect would have to be Macca, because Josh is not a striker anyway. Yeah. He's more of a winger, forward. Do you know what I mean? Number 10. Whereas Macca, he's probably the perfect striker to play with, because obviously he can use his head, he can run a lot. And we talk a lot because we get on well off the pitch as well, so we talk a lot while we was playing together, even if it was short stints. Because I remember, what game was it where I assisted him? I think it was Filed when I squared it. So yeah, I'll say Macca. Macca's the best striker to play with.
So you've played with some talent over the years. Would you say Macca's probably up there with some of the best strikers you played alongside?
Yeah, definitely. The thing about Macca is, I judge a good striker when things are not going as well on the pitch, but you just pop up with a goal. That's what strikers are there for. Do you know what I mean? So you could be having the worst of games, or if you miss a chance, I like strikers that if they miss a chance, they'll still be in that same position again to score. So, and Macca's that type of striker.
James, don't take this the wrong way, and I'm glad we're a few miles apart because I'm going to say it still. Yeah. You both look quite unorthodox strikers. You're not the traditional look and feel of a striker, yeah? So when both of you are playing together, I wouldn't want to be a centre or back four. You wouldn't know what you're going to do next. Because the way you both run, you're quite mobile, fairly physical. You know, yeah. Macca likes to rough them up a bit for other reasons, but just the way you look and feel of you as individuals, you're just not orthodox, but it works.
No, I think that's what helped us in our favour as well. Sometimes, sometimes it doesn't help us in our favour, because some managers will look at it and think, he's not for us. We don't know what we're going to expect, or he doesn't look like the typical. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it works both ways really. But like I say, it's a case of what we do on the pitch, and that will really determine the outcome.
So I think that definitely kind of leads itself into like the way that you kind of played at Orient. You know, when you were coming on as a sub, that raised the whole crowd, because there was that kind of the air of, you know, the crowd started going when they saw you warming up, and it was that kind of, you know, you were gonna put some emphasis onto the pitch and kind of get the whole crowd going, get the whole stadium going. So I think that was something that really kind of helped, you know, the crowd get behind the team. Yeah. So yeah, I think that, you know, that's one of those things that really kind of sums up for me your time at the Orient.
It was a bit like, but you see, when you even say that, it's a bit, it helps, but then sometimes it don't help, because at that time I was just then known as a super sub. I was never known as, okay,
Yeah.
James. The gaffer wouldn't think James can start this game. It would just think, because I've done so well when I come on with a lot of games, the gaffer then starts to think, okay, yeah, you know what? We're just going to bring James on. We're just going to bring James on. So it helps, but then sometimes you can look at it as, oh, I'm just a super sub, Chikorito.
Chikorito, yeah. Listen, you're putting yourself into name some good players here, so I like the confidence. So when you always look a happy chap, you know. Let's get the facts. You're smiling tonight, talking to us. You always look happy, even when it was dog poor out there. You was all smiling if you was warming up around that. Dish some dirt around the training ground, because I love it when a player drops his ex-colleagues in it, because who was the best player to play with? And you talked about strikers being Macca, but I like to understand who was the best player at the club at the time when he was there. You know, so that's question number one. Other players have mentioned the team. I think you mentioned as well, quite tight. You know, and you remember Charlie Granger. So we interviewed Charlie earlier in the summer, and the one thing he said is that he probably could pick up his phone to any one of that squad and go out for a drink, something to eat. You know, cup of coffee. There was that bond there. Yeah. So I appreciate that you probably don't want to break in that bond. No, you won't. This is a bit of fun here. So when I say who's the best player, that's one. Yeah. Who was the best trainer in your opinion? Because I bet my better dollar you were pretty on the button with that one. And more importantly, because you are a laughing, happy, smiley chap, who made you laugh daily? Yeah. And for what reason? Yeah. So you could be a funny laugh, i.e. humour, or it could be a fairly Dan Happ type, bit of say something a bit wrong, and then that makes you laugh. So best trainer, yeah. Who was the best player at the club at the time when you were there, and why?
Who made you laugh? First one was the best trainer.
You whatever. I've thrown them back to you in three different areas. So trainer, best player, and who made you laugh?
Best player. Whew. Yeah, some players, man. I'd say best player. It's out of Josh Karoma and Joby McAnuff. It's tight too.
Josh is Joby McAnuff, so it's got to be. That's the same player, isn't it?
Yeah.
The kid's turning into Joby.
Yeah, and then you've got people like Dates. He's a joke when fit. You've got people like the Man Mountain Marv. It's out of them four.
Yeah. So I think Joby probably nicks it because of the maturity of his career. Yeah. Because a man of his age, and no apologies to Joby, it's not offence. A man of his age looking so fit still, who can still make a big difference. Even when he came on back in the last season, I think that first game back, the whole game changed when Joby came on. You know, he just the quality of a player. So we've got your best player. So who was the best trainer?
Best trainer. Best trainer. I'll have to give that to. Ooh, tough one. No, I can't give it to Joe Widdowson.
Is that you can't give it to Joe because Joe wasn't the best trainer, or you can't give it to Joe because you don't want to make him feel good?
Nah, Joe Widdowson was. You know Joe Widdowson, he's lethargic. So 1 minute he'll be good, next minute he's just Joe Widdowson. I'll probably, if he was centre-mid, we had Charlie Lee. Charlie Lee was good. Sorry, Lawless.
You know what? I'll speak to Alex about it because he actually said it himself in an interview that he was probably the best. He loves it.
Every single day, he wouldn't put a foot wrong. Every single day.
He loves it. So then the last one for me, James. Who made you laugh?
Apart from me.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's only one person. Miles Judd.
Yeah, Juddy.
Juddy was.
Judd was a comical mission waiting to happen, isn't he? I think everything in his life makes other people laugh. So, good lad. So, winning the league. How did you feel personally? Because you probably not had contributed as much as you wanted, yeah. And then you won the league. You're celebrating. We see that image that comes up time and time again with you and Justin. You know, the big smile all over him. How did you feel at that time?
It was just a relief, because as much as I didn't contribute as much as I wanted to, I still did contribute. And one thing about the team was things like that happened with me and the likes of Dale Gorman, and how we was in and around the place was highlighted in the dressing room with why we've got to where we've got to. So that kind of made us even more part of the team, because we knew how we took not playing as much. And when the gaffer and Joby highlighted that we were so professional about it, and without people like us, we wouldn't have achieved it, that's what made me feel a part of the team. So when we won, it was just a relief, literally, just happiness, because I'm like everyone knows, I'm normally a happy guy. So when we done that, it was just, yeah, let's get to the fun. We've put all the hard work in. Let's enjoy ourselves now.
And that's where Marbella comes in.
Ooh.
So as I say, the kind of the roller coaster that it was, like with the sad passing of Justin. You know, no one could kind of, you know, see it coming or anything like that. But it must have been so hard to, as you say, someone that when you first kind of met him, you could trust every word that he said. It must have been a tough time for the squad. You know, was it as tough as you assume it would be?
Yeah, because before I went to Miami, we got a message saying that he's ill. Was it ill? I can't remember what the message was, but there was something wrong. And we thought, okay, it's probably just a procedure that he has to go through. He'll be okay. Then I was in Miami, and we got a message from Martin Ling saying that, yeah, can everyone join a conference call? And we then, but before I joined the conference call, I quickly searched on the internet, Justin Edinburgh, and it said like he's in a cardiac arrest or something like that. And that's when I started feeling like my heart started beating like faster. So when we got into the call, we were just thinking they're just gonna say that, listen, he's ill, or he might not manage for some time until he starts getting better. But yeah, that's what we thought it was gonna be. Then literally, when we heard him say he's passed away, we were just, I just remember it being like silent. No one said anything. No one knew what to think or say. Then obviously Martin Ling said, listen, we'll just give you some time, guys, but if anyone needs us, we're just a phone call away or just a message away. I know everyone's not in the country right now, but as soon as you get back, just let us know. And literally that day of my holiday was ruined. I didn't do anything. I wanted to stay in my room. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to gather my thoughts. And my friends at the time, who were really, like, shout out to them, they were really supportive. They came into the room and they got me out. We went to like a bar, just had a couple of drinks. But even like when I was there, they could see that I wasn't really there because of the passing. But obviously they just got me through it. And I was able to enjoy my holiday, because one thing that people need to know about Justin was he loves enjoyment. He loves having fun. So it was just a case of doing what he would have wanted me to do. So yeah, that's how I ended up enjoying my holiday for the rest of it.
Because where Justin assigned you, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're on one hand, so you had that to your heart to take. But the other thing, again, James, just to sort of help us out, was you aware of that you're going to be transfer listed at that time, or was that when you came back after your break?
No, because it was Justin that transfer listed me.
Okay.
So before the holiday, I knew that I got transfer listed. But what happened was, before the FA Trophy game final at Wembley, we all had meetings the day before, and Justin had told me that, listen, it hasn't worked out this season. I'm not saying that you're gonna leave. You should leave or whatnot, but I'm thinking of transfer listing you. And I said to him, okay, that's fair enough. But I just want to know where I went wrong in terms of, because I haven't played a lot anyway, so I just want to know where I went wrong. And he was like, obviously he apologized because of they signed Jay Simpson, and everyone thought that Jay Simpson was going to come and like take off and take us to the next level, but he didn't. So he was like, listen, you would have been better off rather than Jay Simpson, but obviously we signed him, and I think he was on good money, so we had to play him. So he apologized for that, and then I said, okay, cool. So what do you think I could do better, whether it's at Orient or somewhere else? He said, I just want you to impose yourself more, like let everyone know you're on the pitch. Like some games, you don't impose yourself on the game. So that was the main reason for me staying at Orient next season, because I had to show, before I leave, I'm going to show that, listen, I'm on the pitch and I can do what I can do. So yeah, I knew before I went on holiday that I got transfer listed.
You mentioned Jay Simpson, and strangely, I sponsored Jay for the time he was with us. But I think the Jay Simpson signing was a lot to do with the fans, if I'm honest. And everyone says, oh, no, the board doesn't listen to the fans, but they do. You know, Jay was an ex-Orient player. We see what happened with Jovi coming back after the debacle under the Italian regime. He's come back and imposed himself on the club, and everyone loves the man. And Jay was another one of those players who left on very sort of negative terms, and to be on opportunity to bring someone back who was a really good player with us and had a good career, went to America and came back. I think that probably didn't help, because that was we remember the Jay Simpson of old, and as we all know, a couple of years in this game, it changes you. You know, your physique, the type of player you are, your ambition, your drive, and all those things. So we flip that round. Then you're taken off the transfer list. You come back ripped. We spoke about that gif, you know, the rip in the shirt and absolutely full of muscle. So that's sort of another part of the roller coaster that is James Alabi. How was your emotions then when you were taken off the transfer list?
I knew I was getting taken off from the day Justin Edinburgh passed. When he passed away, I had conversations with numerous amount of clubs. I even flew to Scotland to meet 2 clubs. I met clubs in London. I met clubs in Manchester, all wanting to sign me. And I said to myself, nah, because that's the last conversation I had with Justin Edinburgh. He said that you need to impose yourself on the game. And I said to myself, I owe it to him to at least give myself a shot. If I get let go, or if I don't come off the transfer list, then at least I've come back and I've tried. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when I came back, Ross will tell you. Ross said, yeah, James, you come back, but I'm not going to change anything with the transfer list. We're going to keep it the same. And we're going to sign some strikers. I said, cool. I don't care. Martin Link said the same thing. He said, listen, we're going to sign strikers. We're not going to change what Justin Edinburgh has done. So, yeah. Well, I said to Ross, I remember being in the room with Ross, and I know he was shocked. I said, Ross, okay, but I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to play. Then you make your decision off that. Like, He's like, okay, cool, fair enough. So I was training and whatnot, and the players, like, I had players coming up to me thinking, James, what are you doing? Why didn't you just go somewhere else and sign? Like, just go away, go elsewhere, like, just to help you. I'm like, okay, listen, you lot can tell me what you want to do. At the end of the day, it's my career. So I'm hearing this, that, and the fourth, like, James. Then I'm even hearing I'm going to Dagenham and Redbridge, I'm going to this place, I'm going to all these places. And I'm like, no, I'm staying put. And I've got a good friend of mine that plays for Newcastle, Orlando. And he was just like, don't listen to the noise, just play your game and let's see what happens, innit? But I said to myself, I'm giving myself until pre-season finishes. So we play against, what's that team that play on the Harlow.
When you scored?
But this is where the difference was, yeah? I was playing second half, and we had signed Lee Angol, we had signed Connor Wilkinson, we had signed Josh Wright. We had signed all these players, and like I said, it was a case of the responsibility is not on me. But remember what I told you before, responsibility has to be on me for me to do whatever I need to do. But this is where I realized to myself, where I said, okay, there's another fire in my belly that I can bring out now. This is what I'm trying to show. Like, now, I don't need that responsibility no more. I've got it in me now to show that I can, when I'm doubted, I'm going to do it. So, first half, Connor scores. They're winning whenever, everyone's winning. Well, I think it was, I can't remember the scoreline. But then I remember I come on, I was warming up for the second half. And this is when I noticed the difference. I'm warming up and I'm doing kick-ups, yeah? And I don't hear an Alabi shout from no fan. And that's probably the first time since I've been at Orient where I've gone, wait. So now, like, the fans don't believe in me because I'm doing kick-ups, like, before I'm coming on, and I don't hear, Alabi. So I'm thinking, okay. Because I'm on the transfer list, and that's no problem. Like, I don't think bad of the fans for doing that, but that's because they're thinking I'm out the door soon. So Alabi's time's done. So I'm doing kick-ups and I'm thinking I'm not hearing nothing. So I said, cool, don't worry, cool. So the game's being played, and then I don't know if you remember that game. I hit the crossbar from far. I'm beating players, and then third time. I'm doing everything but scoring. So I'm getting past and keep a save and everything. Then I remember it. I'm running down the wing. The guy's tried to stop me. He's dropped on the floor. I've cut in on my left foot and scored. But when I scored, it's the loudest roar of the whole day. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So you've got Connor, you've got Lee, and they're all looking sharp. They're all looking good, but no one's taken to them like when I score. So when I've scored, I've gone, okay, now we're talking. So everyone's like, okay, yeah, no, I love you. So literally, Joby, and this is one thing about Joby. Joby has believed in me for ever since I've been at Orient. So he kind of just came up to me and said, yeah, you're coming with a different energy. Like, they can't ignore it. They can't ignore it any longer. Yeah. And if you're playing like that while you're on the transfer list, then I don't know what's going to happen. So then I've got into the changing room and Josh Wright, we were flying to Marbella. And I thought, they're probably not going to take me because I'm in the transfer list. They're just going to wait for me to get another club. But after that Harlow game, Ross and everyone's thinking, oh, wow, okay, the fans, they love him. He's played like that. He has to come with us to Spain. So we've gone to Spain and we're training. And then I do something crazy in training, like I just run past everyone and score. And Josh Wright came to me, I'll never forget. Josh Wright came to me, he's gone, how are you on the transfer list? And I've gone, listen, I'm not gonna blame anyone, but I'm on a mission, innit? I need to come off it. And he's like, listen, if you're playing like this, you'll be out of it in no time. So I said, cool, don't worry. So then we play against Hull City in Marbella, and everyone's playing like moderate amount of games. Like everyone's playing like 60 minutes then 30 minutes. And I think I've completed another 90 minutes. But the whole City game, someone got injured. And I ended up having to play right back. And I played the whole 90 minutes, no injuries, and I put in a good performance. And I was looking better than the strikers that we just signed. Because Connor was up against a defender that was just winning everything in the air. And then I went there to start just bringing everything down on my chest. And then the fans that were there at the time were just like, Alabi, just going crazy. So then on social media, a lot of people were just kept on saying that, listen, he can't go nowhere. And remember, we signed all these players and they're talking about me like I shouldn't go nowhere. But really, truly, if anything, you should be saying that I should go somewhere because you've got all these players. So we then had meet and greet with all the fans in Spain. And literally, that was all the questions I was getting. Oh, you need to come off the transfer list, blah, 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 blah. So then we had another training session, training well. Then Ross called Martin Ling, they had a meeting. Then literally I finished my lunch and Lingy said, James, can you come and see us after? And I was thinking, hold on, what's happening here? I didn't have no clue it was going to be there. I thought maybe when we get back to London, they'll say it. So we had a meeting and he's gone, James, obviously we know what's happened, transfer list, and we told you that, listen, we're not going to change what's happened, but with how you've come back and how you've shown your work. Because even when I was doing like my runs, when the team was doing a run, I was making sure that the other players, I was taking the responsibility on my shoulder. I was making sure that other players are getting in on the time. Like people like our skipper, like Coles. I remember Coles would tell you this. We're doing a hill run, and Coles only finished it because of me, because he was going to quit. But I was like, listen, let's just do it. Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Keep on going. Just stuff like that. So Ross was like, listen, if you would like us to, we're going to take you off the transfer list. If you would like us to. And I've gone, yes, but the only reason why I'd want you to take me off the transfer list is if you give me the opportunity like everybody else. I'm not telling you to play me and start me every game, but when you see me doing something well, just give me the opportunity to play. And Lingy and Ross at the time said, yeah, we'll give you that. Lingy gave me a hug and a kiss. Ross gave me a hug and we shook hands and we said, yeah, okay, cool, James is off the transfer list, let's go. Let's get the party started. So the media manager said, yeah, listen, we're going to announce it tomorrow. Just make sure you retweet and whatnot. And then literally my phone just went crazy.
All those managers of clubs you promised to go and sign for are going, hold on.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, so when we remember your time at the Orient, for me, I remember three main images that come straight to mind. We talked about earlier the slide tackle at Salford, the goal at Grimsby away, and your title celebrations. Are you happy with the impact that you left on Leyton Orient?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't leave an impact. I wouldn't want to be remembered for just a tackle. Obviously, I'm a striker. If I was a defender, it's different. But
I think James, that was some tackle though. You got to admit.
Yeah. If like I've got one of my friends. If you know me, that's my trademark tackle. But I don't always get it right. When you don't get it right, you get a red card.
Yeah.
I don't always get it right. But yeah, that was just adrenaline really. Like that game, I think Justin was like, we're not getting in on them and whatnot, and they're rivals to win the league. So we've got to kind of just show them. So I thought, yeah, let me just go in on it.
You started sliding there in the central Manchester, I think, when it is. You seem to go for hours.
Yeah. I was just sliding. I actually know that right back as well, Scott Wiseman. He when he doesn't do football, he's a mortgage advisor. And believe it or not, he actually messaged me like after the game saying, "Can I help you with a mortgage?" And I was thinking, yeah, wow. I didn't think he'd ask me, but yeah, I think the Grimsby goal made me satisfied that at least I showed a little bit of what I could do. I know I didn't do it regularly, but I showed a bit of what I can do if I had more of a chance to play. So yeah, I'm satisfied with obviously getting promoted. So I'll always go down in the history, and the Grimsby goal, the tackle, and yeah, the rip of the shirt. Yeah, no, I am satisfied. Obviously, I want it to be more, but yeah, I'm satisfied with that.
With that goal at Grimsby, the couple of things. Was Louis Dennis shouting at you, square it, yeah? Or was it Louis just trying to think, where's James going? Because you were on a mission. When you spun him, you were off, weren't you? You were...
Do you know what's so crazy? Louis Dennis was shouting at me to keep going. Because Louis Dennis, me and him, we're close, and Louis Dennis deals with some things mentally. So we had a game against AFC Wimbledon in the checker trade, and I don't know if you saw it, but I ran down the line and I squared the ball to Louis Dennis, and he missed. Like, it was like an open goal and he missed. He won't mind me saying this because we talk about it all the time. So he lost a bit of like confidence, as you can see throughout the Orient season that he had, because Louis Dennis is one. In fact, can I take back best trainer?
Louis Dennis.
Louis Dennis. I forgot about him. He will pull out the most unbelievable skills you ever see. I don't even think footballers do some of the things he does. Louis Dennis is unbelievable training. So he was dealing with like confidence issues. So when I was running through and goal, I knew Louis Dennis didn't want the ball, because if he missed, I don't know how would he have reacted.
Good point.
So he was shouting at me, just keep on going, keep on going. So I didn't even think of squaring it to Louis Dennis, or he didn't even shout, "Where was he going?" I just knew that I'm taking on that opportunity to go. Because literally, when I put my foot in the air, I just saw space to run into. And I thought, if I run into this space, there's no way they're catching me. Because when I'm gone, I'm gone. So, yeah, that's how the goal came about.
That's cool. Thanks to Robert Hawkes, who messaged in and was one of the questions he asked. I think that the Grimsby goal meant a lot to everyone, because I think you knew it would mean a lot to the fans, especially when you were talking about earlier about the chanting your name and what have you. And you know what? I didn't look at it that way when you talked about Louis the other way around. I was thinking Louis is probably going, a large pass it, you know, I'm gonna bury this. But you're right. If you'd have passed squared it and he would have put it over the bar or something, he would have been on his knees, wouldn't he? Because his confidence would have been shot. So you've done him a favour as well. So I hope he sends you a birthday card next time it's your birthday.
Yeah. No, it was a good time when I scored that goal, because I know it meant a lot of things to the fans and whatnot. Because obviously we was on a bad run and we got a big win away at Grimsby. I remember, and I got the penalty after. Josh Wright scored, and it was a big thing for me personally as well, because, like I said, I'm doubted till this day. And even that game, I was doubted. A lot of people in and around Orient didn't believe I could come and produce that day. So yeah, those were things that will happen personally with me, and it was just a case of just me like being relieved to show them that, listen, this is what I'm shown. And obviously at the time that we had the new gaffer come in, that was the first game that he watched away, I think, and I know he was told about the players that he should pick and select and work with, and I wasn't one of them. So when I done that, it was like, you're gonna pick them players, but he's not gonna go unnoticed. So you can pick your players, but when push comes to shove, I'm showing you that I can play as well.
Did you have that conversation with Fletcher about your opportunities, or was he sort of keep you at sort of arm's length?
Yeah, I had a conversation as soon as he came in. He said, "Yeah, you're going elsewhere." He said, "I want you to go elsewhere to play." After I'd done that at Grimsby, and I was like, "What? Like, what else do you want me to do?" Like, I've been given 15. I get given 15 minutes, 20 minutes to play. I produced that in the 20 minutes that you've seen of me. You may have not seen anything else, but you've seen that 20 minutes. And then I get told I should go. I remember, I think it was Dover. I get told to go to Dover. I was like, what? Why? You can see that I can play, but like I said, people must have told him what to do. I don't know. That's the side that I don't know about.
Yeah, but that for a pro must be a bit of a kick in, where, because you've come back with renewed energy at pre-season. You've shown the point out in Marbella. You've got a kiss off of Lingy, who said, "Yeah, great, we're going to take you off the transfer list." The new man arrives after a real tough time for the Orient on and off the pitch, and even after
the taking off the transfer list, we had a first away game to Plymouth. What was our first away game?
Cole Fletcher's first away game was Plymouth.
No,
right? Yeah.
No, the away game with Ross.
Mansfield? No, that wasn't the first, was it? Tuesday night at Mansfield.
That game, I got taken out of the squad. So that's when the first kick in the teeth was. Because when Carl came in and said that when you out, I was just like, okay, cool, same old stuff happening. Because when I got told I'm getting taken off the transfer list in the second game in, I'm out the squad. And remember, I said to Ross and Lingy at the time, just give me the same opportunity. I'm not saying that I should play. I'm not saying that I should even start, but give me an opportunity where I can show myself. But when you're getting taken out the squad, what can you do? You can't play football in the stands, can you? So that was the first kick in the teeth. And then when Carl Fletcher done what he done, I was just like, yeah, okay, it's the same bullshit. He's coming in, he's seen what I've done. He's just gonna do what other people say.
Sorry to hear that, James. Really sorry.
So yeah, as I say, you were well and truly a fan favourite, and as you say, that comes with the chance. I don't know if, like at the Orient, it takes us a while to kind of get a chance for players.
Normally about 10 years, James.
Yeah, we're not the best. We're not the best at it. But as I say, it was the Alabi scores were on the pitch. It came from a place of love. You're a fan's favourite. But did that get to you? Like, was it?
It was massive for me. I'd say that was probably one of the main reasons of me even staying as long as I should, because I knew one thing, that maybe the manager, maybe some players, maybe the chief exec, maybe they don't like me, but one thing I 100% know till this day is the fans love me. So if I come in and I see fans wanting a picture of me, I see fans sending me photos of my shirts, I see fans of my name being put in certain places, like, that's what got me through day to day, and that's what the fans don't know. The fans need to know that my time at Orient was helped a lot by them. It wasn't because of the managers and whatnot, it was because the love that the fans showed me. So that's why everyone used to see me happy all the time. Even if I wasn't on the pitch, I could be warming up and I just heard, I'm just smiling. Do you know what I mean? So
that's good. I see you. I mean, I sit in the Tommy Johnson behind the goal, and see you warming up alongside the West End, and you probably get the largest applause when you're off the bench and warming up, which is good. So going back to Grimsby, right? So we had about 383 fans go up. We're not Premier League, but we have the old faithful, as the terminology used a lot. You go and bloody score, and no one goes on the pitch.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah,
I'll tell you why no one jumped on the pitch. There was a sign at the front of the fans that said, anyone who enters the field of play will be fined £1,000. And, you know, I love the fact that you scored, but I weren't going to lose £1,000.
No, I didn't. You see the chant. I think the chant started coming about when we was about to win the league.
Yeah.
So it would have been easier for fans to jump on the pitch then. So whenever like it was this season or this, I knew that the fans wasn't going to jump on the pitch. It was a way of speaking. But if it's a scenario where we're going to win the league, then I know the fans would have erupted on the pitch. But no, it was a good chant. It will live with me for the rest of my life. I even think wherever I go, they might try and steal it because I know it's a big thing, that chant, and a lot of people know about it.
On that note, then, so James, we're coming to a natural end, I call it, of these interviews, and I probably could talk to you for another couple of hours, and I mean that sincerely. You're a great guy. So on to the future. So I'm not sure. I was just looking online quickly where Tony Pulis is at the moment. I'm not quite sure where he is, but have you got anything lined up? Have you got some irons in the fire for next season?
Yeah, obviously, but I'm just taking this time to think about my next move. I've had conversations with clubs, so I'm just going to take my time. There's no rush yet because we don't know when football's.
Are you looking to stay in the EFL, or are you going to go back to the National League?
There's options for both. So I'm just gonna wait and see what the best package is for me and my family. So yeah, it's just a thing of being patient and thinking things through, because I want to make sure that the next move I do make is a successful one. I can have the same impact I have at Orient, but with the goals as well.
Yeah, so I'm just writing down there. Definitely on my list of no goes is Boreham Wood, Stoke, Millwall, yeah, Dover again. I'm not quite sure because you didn't want to go there after Fletcher's want to send you there. We'll speak to you offline. So as we come to this, is probably the last question from us, mate. Is there anything you want to say to the Orient faithful, because you are someone who will always be in our hearts? Anything you want to say, and we can shove out there on your behalf.
Just want to thank them so much from the first day to the last. I will always have love for them. You've got me through some tough times. You've put smiles on my face when I should be pissed off or sad. You've made my family feel welcome. You've made me socially bigger. And I just can't thank you enough. I wish you all the success and success for the club as well, because it's been difficult. As much as it's been difficult for the club, it's been difficult for the fans as well. You've had to been put through a lot with Justin Edinburgh passing, with this whole pandemic. I hope you stay well, you stay fit, and everything gets back to normal. You go and enjoy the games, and who knows, you might see me in the crowd.
James, that just proves the true gentleman you are. Sometimes always us those faithful off our seats, have us cheering your name. We all could see you tried, and you can never get away from that. You tried your absolute best whilst wearing an O shirt. So on that note, we salute you. We will keep you in our hearts, as I said earlier. We will keep an eye out for where your career goes, and hopefully you will pop along soon and come and say hello. But more importantly, you won't know it. There'll be a day, then you look up in a stand wherever you're playing, there's a load of Orient fans with, if Alabi scores, we're on the pitch, and we'll be there to support you. So James, on that note, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay rich, and all that jazz. But yeah, look us up when you got yourself another club. Cheers.
Thank you.